Hello and welcome to Authentically Shauna. I'm your host, Dr. Shauna Burke. It's been a while for me since I've been on a microphone. So when I went up to Toronto this summer, I was there in mid-July to do a lot of the healing on my spine and to take a course. I batch recorded my first 7 episodes. And so I haven't picked up a microphone since. And so it is July 23rd, and I'm embarking on another journey. And I am at a layover in the Denver airport. I'm heading to Cincinnati and thought this would be a great time to give you a catch up on what's been going on since my last episode. And when I left Canada, I felt incredible. And not to say that I don't feel incredible, I felt like seeing Dr. Roth shifted so much for me in my physical structure and the way that my joints move and the way that I could perceive where I was in space. And his theory, which I'm sure works for some people, is that once your joints are in a better position, your brain will recalibrate and figure out how your muscles move appropriately. And that honestly hasn't been my experience. And so I've sort of been in this toggle of figuring out how to move in this new movement system and this new physical structure. Like my joints have never been this, I'm going to say, fr- like bony malformations of my joints are just moving so much more easily without pain all over my body. And so now it's like, how do I control that range of motion and how do I move appropriately? Because really my goal is how do I get strong? Because I know that for a long time now, I haven't really used my upper body in a way that I'd like to. And I know that my lower body strength isn't where I'd like it to be. And so, yeah, it's been a little bit of a puzzle for me of who do I see now? Like what's the next step? I think that's it. It's like what's the next step? How do I get my movement system to operate differently? Because I want it to operate differently, but who do I see and how do I get help for that? And so that's been like category A. Category B is gut health. And I really hoped that going and getting my spine realigned and getting my nervous system in a different place would really help with my gut microbiome. I have had some struggles with that in recent history and we'll say like got quote unquote diagnosed with SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So some nasty bacteria are hanging out in my guts and it's causing bloating and gas and constipation. Really fun. And it's causing you to have a higher body fat percentage. And yeah, I think just things that obviously are not ideal. And so since I came back from Toronto, I've been going to the Cone Center and have been doing a red light bed called Trifecta. And I've been doing the fat loss protocol as well as doing a vibration plate and doing something to support my liver because that's really important in fat loss as well. Again, not medical advice, is just sharing what I'm doing. And my job, I have a body composition scanner. And so I rechecked in on the body composition scanner and I unfortunately gained more body fat, even though I've been doing this protocol. And, you know, I've been working with Dr. Laurel, who's fantastic. And we've been trying the herbal route of using herbs to help with the die off and to kill off the bacteria that's not great for my gut. And it's not working. And that happens in this. Like, I think that's really common is you try something and you really give it a solid go. So I've been sort of in a phase where I feel like I'm calling it my healing sandwich. So I went on this big healing journey in July, and then I've just been kind of processing and trying to do as much as I can to get ready for this trip that I'm currently starting to embark on, which I'm calling it Friends Tour 2024. This trip, a portion of this trip, was intended to happen with a dear friend of mine, Mickey, who I talk about in a previous episode. She really wanted us to go and see Rita, who you're going to meet in the next episode, who is a chiropractor in Maysville, Kentucky, and then go see Rochelle, who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She'll be on the next episode to get my colors done. And I can't wait to uh, have you all learn about that because I think it's really powerful and wonderful. And she passed really unexpectedly in April, and we didn't get to go on this trip. And we were supposed to see another friend of hers as well in Atlanta. And he unfortunately passed 2 weeks before she did. And so there was this really, I'm going to say, big sense of like urgency of I really need to go on this trip. I don't need to put it off. I don't have anything that's pressing that is, I can't go away. And so I decided to do this trip, which I'm on now. So I'm calling it Friends Tour because I'm combining a bunch of other things with it. So I'm seeing Rita, and then I could see one of my best friends from college in Cincinnati for an evening, which I'm really looking forward to. And then I'm going to see Rochelle and getting my colors done. And then from the Young Americans, a really good friend of mine, he also lives in Atlanta, so I'm going to see him. And then I'm flying to Denver. And I'll say category 3 of things that I'm working on in my health is my vision. So I had visual issues as a child. I went to vision therapy in kindergarten and first grade because I was partially, or we'll say like legally blind in my right eye. I had 220 vision. We got a contact in my right eye. My left eye was 20/20. It normalized. I had time and a half on exams in high school and college. And it was also, we'll say, quote unquote, stable until the car accident I was in 2017. And then my left vision shifted. I've had troubles with distance in my left eye. And I went back and did vision therapy a couple summers ago and really helped my right eye. And it helped with my proprioception, which was altered from the traumatic brain injury. It didn't help my left eye. And so I've been trying to heal my brain and get my vision to normalize because I think what's happening right now is because my eyeballs, like if you ever look at a glasses prescription, there's plus and minus. So one eye is plus, one eye is minus. And I think what's happening is most of the time I'm in mono vision, meaning my right eye is doing the work when I'm doing distance and my left eye is doing the work when I'm doing near work. And there's fancy words like converge and diverge. I know they're not converging and diverging appropriately. And I know that I've like kind of tapped out on the people near me. And so there is a clinic in Denver that specializes in people who've been to vision therapy and kind of like the people who people don't know what to do with, which that's sort of the category I'm finding myself in. And so I'm going to go do a 2-hour neuro vision assessment with them while I'm in Denver. And then I'm going to meet up with a person who's become a very dear friend and coach. And we are going to do, uh, it's called Healing Fest. It's Donnie Epstein's work, Network Spinal, which is energetic work and emotional work. And he has something called the 12 stages of healing, which is kind of like annoyingly on the nose. Like when I read over the 12 stages and like the emotions that you feel, and you're just like, how did you know what was going on in my brain? How did you write that down? Like I have felt all of those things and like, wow, thank you for writing it down. Thank you for uh putting it into putting it into words because it's been a lot of feelings. And so I'm so excited to get to go. I'm not really sure what to expect. I know this friend of mine had said it's kind of like going and getting a year's worth of these adjustments, which are energetic, but in a weekend. And so I'm so excited to do that. And then we're going to go, there's a hot springs in Denver that we're going to go to. So it's just like a lot of healing that I know I'm going to get to do. And so, yeah, while I've been concerned about my gut microbiome and my movement systems and my vision, I'm like, okay, let's see how everything shakes out at the end of this trip. And I also wanted to chat about like life and lifestyle. And I know if I was sitting here as a practitioner, I would say, key things to healing are nervous system regulation, getting good sleep, and letting your body have some time to rest. And I have to say that I have not been doing the giving your body time to rest and process. And I'm finding myself in this sort of difficult position where I'm doing all of this alternative healing, which is wonderful. And I'm like so happy that it exists. And I feel so blessed that I get to work with people who are truly incredible. And yeah, it's such a blessing in my life. And yeah, it really has made me into this version of myself. And yeah, so many wonderful things. And it's like on a practical level, it's not inexpensive. And I am so blessed that I get to live at home with my parents and I get to put so much of my resources into my own healing because my overhead for life is really low. Uh, but the cost of these things is quite significant. And so I've been working two jobs. So most days I'm working uh 10 to 12-hour days just because I'm not making a 10 hourly and just how things are kind of working out in the scheduling. And it's, yeah, it's hard because I'm I realize that I need to put more time into my own body now, right? Like I know that I need to really spend probably a couple hours a day, you know, an hour probably on physical. And then I know that I'm about to enter into a season of vision therapy. And so knowing that I can't come out of a 10, 12-hour day and have the resources or the capacity for myself to heal in the way that I know that I want to. And like, if I'm going to do this, like, I really need to give myself the opportunity to do it at in the best capacity that I can. And so I've been working, again, I said two jobs. I work in the morning as a quote unquote traditional physical therapist. I go to people's homes and I provide in-home outpatient orthopedic physical therapy. And then in the afternoons, I've been going to a gym close by my house that's a new gym, and been working as a personal trainer, which has been awesome. And I train with amazing people. And yeah, I feel like that's been such a great chance for me to meet other people in Long Beach. And there's like friendships that I've gotten through that. It served me in a lot of ways. It's just not serving me financially at this point, the way the schedule is. And so a couple weeks ago, I just had this big feeling that I needed to put in my 2 weeks notice. And so yesterday was my last day working that job. And so my plan is to pick up a few more people in the therapy section in the morning or in the early afternoon, and then have the later afternoon and the evening to work on myself and just have some time so I'm just not so fatigued. And yeah, I will keep you updated and let you know how that's going. So yeah, when I get home, I will be working one job. So it just felt really synchronous, I will say, to give my 2 weeks notice and then go on this big trip and then come home and see what life looks like. And I am going to wrap it up because I feel complete in this story. And wanted to say there's a bug flying around. So if you're hearing me blowing it, there's a bug. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, one way you can do that is which is at Dr. Shawna Burke at DrShawnaBerk hair quiz. And I will send you a quiz that will help us figure out how to best optimize your scalp and hair health. I've been using a company called Monat now for several months, and people keep telling me, oh my gosh, your hair looks amazing. And so join me in your amazing hair care journey. You've been listening to Authentically Shawna with Dr. Shawna Burke. The information contained in this podcast is provided for information purposes only and is not intended for the purpose of diagnosing, treating, curing, or preventing any disease. Before using any products or techniques referenced in this podcast, consult your healthcare provider. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein.